Alright, go ahead and hit record. Okay, so in this, welcome to the VOD if you're watching. In this video we're going to see Lologarithm playing Ahri middle. This is a 1300 elo game. Looks like he is going to be middle against an Anivia. And as far as team comps go, he's going to have a Skarner jungle. So both Ahri and Skarner are very popular bands at the moment, so it's very impressive that they had both of those champions on the same team. That's very good for them. That'll be very strong. Skarner is a very strong jungle with extremely fast clear times, and his ganks at level 6 are... his ganks before level 6 are decent, and his ganks after level 6 are amazing. So hopefully the Skarner is able to apply some strong pressure middle, and he should be able to pick you up really easy kills once he's 6. So the enemy jungle is Jarvan, which you're going to have to watch for. Jarvan jungle is very dependent on his ganks, and he's a very strong ganker early. Yep, so against Anivia, a very good starting item set is boots and 3 health potions. You need to be able to dodge Anivia's skill shots that she's going to throw out, which her Q, her skill shot is very slow moving and very easy to dodge, and if you have boots, it's extremely easy to dodge it, so it's even easier. So it's a good solid start against an Anivia. You have Stephen Colbert on your team, so that's pretty cool. I don't think that's legit. So one thing I do want to comment on Skarner's jungle, he should have started wolves, because Skarner can kill wolves before blue buff even spawns, so it's just a little more efficient to kill the wolves and then go down to blue buff and kill that. He also doesn't need to start cloth armor, he can start Regrowth Pendant and immediately build into a Philistone. So it's always a good idea to look at what your matchup has for starting items and summoner spells. So Anivia has Flash Ignite, so very standard. So you're always going to have to watch the Ignite if you're going to trade and if you're going to get low. And Anivia started Meki Pendant and 2 health potions. That's not an unusual start on Anivia. So that was a really good trade by you. If you always want to pay attention to what the enemy's level is compared to you. So you hit level 2 early and win on the Anivia because you had level 2 and she only had level 1, and her stun was on cooldown because she used it on minions. So it was a very good time for you to trade. And here's the early Jarvan gank I'm talking about. You probably didn't need to flash there. Like, Jarvan had used his cooldowns. All he could do was auto attack you. He already used his passive that does the big damage on the first auto attack, and you had time. Like, you were out of that stun when you flashed, and you could have just sidestepped the Anivia stun. But sometimes it's better just to be safe than sorry. So it's okay. Like, there's still the chance that you could have died there, but you definitely could have saved your flash and still live. So since you started boots and Anivia started Meki Pendant, you do have the advantage of 1 health potion. So you still have a 1 health potion advantage and more HP. So you shouldn't have gotten hit by that stun, but that's okay. One thing you could do to kind of abuse this Anivia right now is I think you're going to be in a better spot mana-wise, because your orb is only 65 mana. I don't know Anivia's mana cost off the top of my head, but I could have looked right there. But you could really put some strong pressure on pushing, but you're zoning really well right now, and so Anivia's having a hard time getting close to the CS. Yeah, and there's the strong Jarvan early ganks that I was talking about. So very good job harassing with your Q. If you're landing those, you're definitely going to be winning trades, so nice work. You can start queuing this wave to try to keep it at Anivia's turret, because it looks like she's having a really hard time last hitting. So you're only 5 CS ahead of her, which I feel like you should be more because you've done a good job zoning her, but ooh, very close to egging her. Don't be too aggressive and greedy on that turret dive. Like, you just took 2 turret hits for no reason. And the best you could have done there is just egg the Anivia. You wouldn't have killed her. So if you throw this Ignite on that Jarvan, he's definitely dead. So nice job. That was very silly of that Jarvan. No idea what he was doing. That was a bad idea. And now Skarner's going to soak up this experience, which is good for Skarner. Because you definitely want your Skarner to be level 6, real quick. And this Anivia, she's being crazy sticking lane with 80 HP. This Skarner should just, pop her egg. But he got hit by Anivia QE for no reason, so. One thing you want to do against Anivia is you want to try to prevent her from getting blue buff. So One thing you could be doing is you could be talking to your team and being like, yo, they're probably going to give Anivia a blue buff at like 7:30 or whatever. I didn't pay attention if Jarvan started blue or not. I should have looked at that. But if you know that Jarvan started blue, then the blue buff is going to be up at around 7:30. And if Anivia is missing mid at that time, then you can bet that she is getting blue buff with her team. So you want to try to counter that, because an Anivia with blue buff is like, it's no fun. It's very strong, and it's not going to be fun to lane with. The other thing to note right now is that you have red buff, so be very aggressive with your right click harass. You want to trade right clicks with Anivia because you're going to come out way ahead because of your red buff. So. Alright, so you have level 6 before Anivia, so you could use that to really be aggressive. So you should right click to Anivia on there. Like I said, you want to use advantage of that red buff. So now, since you're level 6, Ahri is very good at roaming. She's very capable of clearing waves. Now Anivia is too, but Anivia is going to take more mana to do so. Okay, so good job. This is definitely going to be a kill on Anivia. Yeah, forced her to flash, but it's still going to be a kill. So good job going on here, and that was a really good advantage of using your level advantage, since you were level 6 before she was. And it was good game by Skarner. So now one thing you could do, even though you don't have ulti, you could push your lane out and go try to get a gank bottom. Looks like they're pretty pushed back, but you could, what's really effective with Ahri is you push your lane up as far as you can, and then you go this way, and you go gank. So now that you push your lane to your turret, you should probably just, you should either look for a gank or you should just go back and buy. Looks like you're looking for a gank. You can probably harass this Jarvan some. Don't forget you have red buff, so make sure to throw some auto attacks in, because you have red buff, you'd slow him. Now your red buff's actually worn off. Oh, that was a silly flash, so you actually saw the Shyvana there before you flashed, so I don't know if like you were just planning on that flash and didn't react fast enough to seeing the Shyvana, but that was definitely a mistake, flashing into the Shyvana. And it was probably a mistake to go roaming. Like, you had like 1,000 gold sitting in your inventory. You didn't really need to go roaming, and it was just risky because like Shyvana was here and Lee Sin was like just coming back to base, so it was silly. Like, you weren't gonna kill the Shyvana. I think you still could have run more effectively. You didn't ever right click the Jarvan when you had your red buff, and you could right click to get that slow proc before you started running. So I think this is a mistake when you bought. You had enough, you should have gotten a Boots 2. Boots 2 would increase your damage a lot, and I don't think you need the health a whole lot right now. Like, Anivia is forced to play the passive role right now. As far as the build, it looks like you're going the Rylai's first build, and I'm generally not a big fan of that build on Ahri. I think you really need the damage that a Death Cat provides, and I don't think the slow from Rylai's really gives you all that much utility. I mean, I think it's still probably a good build and probably viable, but personally I prefer a standard like 2-door and Xerxes Rush Death Cat build. Woda is another item that would be good on Ahri, but it would only be good if like you have a second AP top. So I definitely don't like. I don't really like the Rylai's build. Your damage is going to be really low, especially compared to this Anivia if she goes a straight AP build. So she started tier, so since Anivia started tier, she's going to be really weak. She's going to have high mana and high mana regen, but she's going to be weak. Since you have blue buff right now, you should be trying to just clear your waves as fast as you can. You could go bottom right now and pick up some easy kills. In fact, actually Anivia's bottom, so you need to recognize that Anivia's bottom and push really hard, which it looks like you're doing, but push harder. Since you have blue buff, anytime you get blue buff on Ahri, you should just keep your lane push to the turret all day and really try to roam. So this is very aggressive going in on this. It's a 3v1, so it was silly to go in on that. Nice juke though. You really juked that Anivia, which is kind of funny. So just one little thing you could have done, since you had wards in your inventory, you could have like dropped a ward in that bush, like you just did, but you could have dropped that when you're fighting to see how low you got that Anivia, because that Anivia might have even been like egged from that. Like you landed all your spells on her, so you might have been able to if you dropped your ward, you could have seen how low HP she is, and you might have been able to turn and kill her. Like, she's been using an HP potion, so she really might have been low from that. I don't think there's a reason to be scared of that Nivea there. Like, you have blue buff, and you had higher HP, and your ult's up in like 4 seconds. You could have tried to initiate a fight, and you probably would have won. But just keep pushing when you have blue buff, and push, and then try to roam. Like, I think Anivia's back to base, so now's a really good time. You push your lane out, and then you go roam. So you should go down this way and go bottom right now. Yeah, and so Anivia went top, so, I mean, that's Top's fault for not having a ward up, but you, once again, you're going to go in on this 3v1, and it's way too risky. Ahri is able to do crazy stuff like this because she has 3 dashes. Good juke on the Jarvan. And yeah, Anivia's out of mana. That's silly of Jarvan, because you guys are in turret range. So that should be a double kill for you guys, pretty easy. So good gank. It was silly of the Nivea to stay and push, especially since they know you're missing. So good job ganking. Anytime your lane goes missing and goes gank another lane, like Nivea went to go gank top, you either need to follow her, which is what you did, and you picked up a double kill, which is good. Or you need to just push your lane, and your lane was pushed up to turret, and you probably could have taken that turret if you just stayed. So that would be an alternative play you could have made. But your play was fine. Like, if you had ended up going top and Anivia wasn't there anymore, like, you wouldn't have gotten any kills, and you just would have wasted your time, and you could have gone mid. But since Anivia was still there, it was easy kills. You haven't gone bottom yet, which is something you should really look at doing with Ahri. And, I mean, Lee Sin definitely needs help. Like, he only has 34 CS, which is really bad. Like, your CS is pretty low. Your CS should be a lot higher. You haven't been, like, really pressured out of your lane or anything. You've been roaming a little bit, but not enough to only have 68 CS at 14 minutes, so... so make sure you go and get these. Yeah. It sucks when your spells are at that awkward point of damage where they, like, leave the minions with, like, really low health. So no reason to get hit by that Anivia stun. Make sure you dodge those. Force you to ulti when you really didn't have to. You could have just ran down this way if you dodged that stun, and you would have been A-okay. So you still have the blue buff because you picked up Anivia's blue buff, so use that to your advantage and just really push. And it'll also give you pretty good sustain, so like use your W right now to get your passive up, and then you can like Q the whole wave to spell vamp on the whole wave. You have a ward in your inventory, but you haven't planted it, and I think that's a mistake. You should plant it either here or here. If you're on purple side, I would probably just plant it here. It gives you a nice sight over here to see if Jarvan's coming this way. So bottom should have dragon warded the whole time, so like if you're on blue side in your mid lane, you want a ward right here, because this gives vision of the jungler leaving this exit, but it also gives vision of mid lane ganking top lane. So like, if you are on blue side, your top lane, this is a bad ward for your top lane. Your top lane would ward Tribush, and you would ward here, and top lane couldn't get ganked except through the lane, because they would see the jungler exit here, and they'd see the jungler exit here, and they'd see the mid lane exit here. And the top could not get ganked. But on purple side, you're gonna have dragon warded, typically. So you don't need a ward right here. You can ward up here and still get some decent vision while still providing the mid gank vision out. So. Yep, so Anivia's going to gank bottom. You either need to follow or push, one of the two. And looks like you're going to push, so it's a good decision by you. I think that's fine. You should probably look at going to help your team though at this point. They're very close to you. I don't know why Skarner's fighting that. Like, that's really silly of the Skarner to fight this. You're going to pick up the kill on the Jarvan, but Caitlyn's definitely dead. You guys could have, like, Caitlyn could have definitely gotten out. Good juke. Make sure to throw right clicks in here since you're red buffed. Okay, good. That was a fine flash to flash over her wall. You should be able to get this egg. You shouldn't have stopped your deeps. You shouldn't have ran away. I mean, you're going to be collapsing on you. You either need to run earlier or just fully commit to that kill, because you're going to die here. Just try to kill this Anivia right here. So you tried to toss your charm, and that's fine. But that was a mistake. When you're that committed that deep in the jungle, you really need to commit to those kills instead of just backing off, because you were not going to get out of that. So and you should almost have your allies. Yeah, only 150 gold off, so pretty close to your allies. So yeah, in that situation, you either needed to go help your team earlier, because Skarner decided to fight for some reason. You could have helped your team earlier. You did get the middle turret, which is good. But you probably should have just gone to help your team earlier, because they got really close. And Kate definitely should have stayed, but... and I just want to reiterate at this point that you've never been bottom on Ahri, and that's one of Ahri's greatest strengths, is you can go through this path, because blue side sometimes doesn't work tri-bush, especially at lower elos, so it's really easy gank to do, and oftentimes it's not warded. And if you gank bottom, you can get dragon, like, really easy. And that's the benefit of ganking bottom, so... So it's really bad to use that many cooldowns on Jarvan and not kill him. I don't know what happened. Like, yeah, this is... I'm gonna say that this is the one thing that happens when you go allies build, or an earlier allies like that. Your damage just isn't really there. You guys blew like everything on that Jarvan and couldn't kill him. So, like, that play should have been fine. You should have been able to just kill that Jarvan and get out. Because Skarner ulted, you ulted, you got Caitlyn. But he didn't go down, and that's bad. It's not even like he doesn't even have that many tanky items, just Merc Treads and Phage. So I don't know. I really think that this is really the problem I have with this Rylai's build. You really do very little damage. And I don't think the utility you get from the slow is worth it, because you don't really... Like, Ahri is so mobile with her ulti, I don't think there's many situations where there's small slow you get, since her spells are AoE. Really is that useful. I think your W might proc this single slow, but Jarvan's out of mana, so you just have to worry about his right clicks. But okay, so that's good. You picked up the Nivea kill, because they were being greedy. You guys can definitely turn on this. Like, they're in a really, really bad position, and this should be 3 free kills for you. But looks like Ashe is going to be a hero and really run an awkward way. Sona's out of mana, so she can't really do much against that Ashe, but Skarner should still catch her. And that was definitely a misplay by you guys. If you had landed your charm, Ashe would have never gotten even close to that far away. I don't know how Lisa misses Q on a suppressed target, but that's alright. Dragon's probably down because it looked like they took it earlier, but you guys should definitely just push and get this turret. So I wouldn't dive him, I'd just try to hit the turret. It's a mistake releasing the gun. Sona landed a decent ulti at least, but... So just keep poking, and Kate should just hit this turret, and you guys should be able to get it. Now you just see Anivia mid, and Anivia is going to get your turret right now. And so right now, Anivia has Death Cap. Anivia is sitting at 257 AP, while you're only sitting at 137. And this is the problem with her allies. You may have like 700 more HP than she does, but she has almost double your AP. And so she's just hitting way stronger, and she's going to do a lot more burst than you are. So, this is just why I'm not a fan of the Rylai's build. You're sacrificing, you sacrifice like 100 AP for... a 35% slow on your... I'm pretty sure your W procs single target, but don't quote me on that. Or like 15% on your Q. It's not worth it. So just definitely try doing a death cap build. This is a very dangerous charge in because Soraka has a bunch of heals, and right now you're going 3v4. So that was just too crazy. You need to realize that your team's behind, and since your team's behind, you can't make plays like that. That's too dangerous and too risky. You can't go 3v4. I think you just tunnel vision on low health guys, but you definitely can't do that. So you need to realize like when you're behind and when your team's behind. Like you're not that far behind because you have 6 kills, but your team in general is really far behind. So that was a mistake to go in. And see, now you're going revolver, and you're still building like a no damage build. You still have only 175 AP, and Nivea is sitting at 260. So Nivea is way stronger right now. A good egg by Caitlyn. Should probably just get out there. Wow, and Nivea definitely had the opportunity to kill Caitlyn. It was silly of her to stay that long. She just got an ER off, which she had time to do, but it looked like she tried to run or something. I don't know. But big mistake by Caitlyn to try to stay there. This is really bad to be in here because you don't know where the rest of their team is. You need to be really careful of Ashe arrow right now. Make sure you don't get arrowed. Looks like they're going for Skarner, which is silly, but you might be able to just sneak in here and like, okay, well, Senna landed her ulti, but she missed it on everyone. Yeah, and see, you did like almost no damage to that Ashe. You landed everything by like minus ulti, and it didn't even do half of her health, and that's a product of just having only 180 AP. Like this build is a utility build, but I feel like you really need damage in this team. Like your Skarner does okay damage, but he's not a high damage jungler. Like Cade is not a high damage AD carry. Lee Sin is behind, so he's not doing very much damage. And he built a Black Cleaver, which is a really odd item for Lee Sin. So, like your team needs you to be doing a lot of damage, especially because you got such an early lead. Like you were pretty far ahead at the beginning, but you blew that early lead by building a low damage build when your team really needed you to do damage. So you need to recognize in games like what role you need to be filling on a team. You don't need to be filling the role of like a utility AP. Like you don't need to have high sustain with slow at all this game. You need to have really high damage. So don't waste cooldowns on their tank. Like Siobhan is the tankiest member of their team, and you just blew all of your cooldowns on her and like tickled her damage wise. Like you don't have the AP and Magic Pen to go on Shyvana like that. And with an Ashe, like you always have to be careful because Ashe just arrowed you. You always have to like remember that about Ashe. Like arrow is still probably the best skill in the game, and you have to respect that. And just in general, like whenever you're playing on any champion or in any team, don't blow cooldowns on the tankiest person on their team. Like you can't blow cooldowns on a Shyvana, or I see it a lot. Like people blow cooldowns on a Singed. People blow all their cooldowns on a Singed, get him to like 25% life, and then his team just comes in and cleans up because there are no cooldowns ready on your team. And that's a common mistake I see a lot of people make. They're like, oh, well, this is the first guy I see, so I'm going to blow everything. Especially on an AP. On AP, you really have to like save your spells for priority targets. Like, this Ashe is so squishy, no defensive items, and is 11 and 2. Like, Ashe should be the one that you're going for every fight. You should save your cooldowns to when you can try to hit Ashe. And Ahri is so mobile, you're going to be able to like dart in and hit Ashe and then dart out and stuff. So. So in this awkward kind of mid-stage game, it's really hard to play this when you're losing. You guys just need to farm up and keep wards up, so that you can see what they're doing and react to it. It's a good use of your R to get out of the Nivea stun. So good job, good focus on going straight for the Nivea. It's unfortunate she had her egg up. Ashe is doing a lot of damage though. You need to get in there, like they're all grouped up, you should be throwing Qs in there all day. Oh, that energy was so close. I don't have the commands for fast forward and pause and all that. I don't know where that went, but that was a pretty bad team fight for you guys, and this is like, you guys shouldn't be forcing fights when you're this far behind. When you're this far behind, you shouldn't be like invading their jungle and being right here. This is like an aggressive position to be in, and especially against a team with Ashe with her arrow, it's very like she has a very good chance of initiating. And I've said this in a couple of my lessons, but you always want to look at team comps and fight based on like what is good for your team comp. They have very strong AoE. Like Anivia is very strong at fighting in the jungles because her wall is very effective at walling people off and creating like from like a 10-person fight into like a 3v2. Like if you guys are all 5 here and Anivia walls here, maybe catches 2 of you here and 3 of you here, like these 2 people are screwed. So fighting in the jungle is really strong for Anivia, and you really want to be careful of that. Yeah, you guys should go on this right now. Like you see Ashe bottom, Caitlyn should just be walking in here and get some more clicks. But so that's a really good initiate on you guys. Good job getting some damage out. You should have killed Soraka in that fight though. Oh, and there's the Ashe arrow. It's okay, Ashe should die for this. I guess not. I guess Ashe is just that fed that your team's not going to go on him. I guess like Sona was out of mana and Skarner was out of life, but still. So anytime you're playing against an Ashe, you really want to be careful as like a squishy. Never be in front. Like you were the most front person of your team, and that's why you got hit by that arrow. And you just never want to be that guy against an Ashe. So she still has 0 defensive items, so you're still going to be able to kill her, and like that needs to be your #1 focus, is killing on Ashe. But the thing is that like because of your low AP build, I don't know if you even can kill Ashe if you get to her. So like if you have Ignite up, you might be able to, but other than that, like it's going to be really hard to kill that Ashe for you because of your low AP build. So sitting in the back and poking may be the best bet for you, but that Ashe is a serious problem. She needs to die. Skarner needs to get a really good ulti. Skarner asking Lee to explain Black Cleaver, and he has a really bad build. Like you don't need Wriggles on Skarner at all. He has like enough sustain, and the jungle is easy enough that you don't need Wriggles at all. He should go like 2 gold per 10 and get a Shurelya's. Shurelya's is amazing on Skarner. Being able to like W and Shurelya's makes you go really fast and makes it really easy to get into position for ultis. Or if you have flash up, you can flash, ulti, like W and Shurelya, and you move really fast after the flash, so you can pull them back really far. Like if this Skarner had Shurelya's and flash up, he could just flash in, grab Ashe, and run her from like here to here back to your team. He can go really far with it. So. This is really silly to engage right here. Like you guys need to engage on your turret, not like this awkward spot outside of your turret. It's really bad to engage there. Like Lee Sin just wanted to harass, but Sona took that as an initiation and just went in on that. So you're gonna kill Ashe at least, so that's good. You landed a really good snare. You can kill the Shyvana if you just commit. So, oh, you actually live. Nice. So. I was gonna say, sometimes like you're just 100% guaranteed to be dead. Okay, so that was really silly to go in on that. There's no reason to die right there, but sometimes when like you know you're dead, you should just try to fight. And like you could have turned and just killed that Shyvana, because I thought you were for sure dead, but Lee Sin saved you with a nice shield and then picked up the kill, so that play also worked. I forgot that Lee Sin was there. So it was silly of that Lee Sin to go. Like, Lee Sin was harassing, so he queued in and did some damage, and then he was expecting to W out, but Sona took that as a sign to initiate, and went and ultied. And one thing to note when you're playing with Lee Sin is when he kicks in like that, he can always get out with his W, and you don't have to, that's not necessarily an initiation. A lot of people will make that mistake where they read that poke of a Lee Sin as initiation. and you know, there's a good chance that Lee Sin could have got caught. Like, you don't want to do that against a team with like a stun, like a Nevia or Ash Arrow and silence. Like, Soraka could just silence him and then he can't W back or anything like that. So Ash has Quicksilver Sash, which isn't that big of a deal for you. I guess you can cleanse your 1.5 second charm, but like I said, that's not really all that important for you. His Lee Sin is definitely dead. Just getting caught, and that'll probably be the game right there. They're definitely going to be able to Baron off that. Actually, they're just going to catch Skarner and Sona. Well, good job. You guys are going to kill Renivia, which is good. If you guys can kill Ashe, that would be really big, because that would slow their pushing power. Like, Anivia is not that important to kill. But it looks like, yeah, you're going to get caught. It's just going to be Caitlyn up, and this is probably going to be game. It's definitely going to be Inhibitor and Baron. But maybe Kate can stall the game, but it's going to be rough. So the big thing I'm noticing in this game is you need to recognize like your role as Ahri, when you need to be an AP assassin, when you need to be more of a utility like Poke Champ. And you went like with a utility build with Rylai's and Revolver, and now you're getting your death cap, but it's too late. It's too late to go for your death cap. Like, the game's pretty much over. So because you went like this Rylai's Hex Tech build, you had really low damage output, and you couldn't be like an effective assassin, so you couldn't really kill Ashe, which is you know it's a big problem. Ashe is just destroying your team, and I really feel like if you had gone like a really strong AP build, that you would have had enough burst damage to where you could really really either force Ashe out of fights or just kill her. Let's look at Anivia's AP compared to yours when we see Anivia again. Actually, when she buys, because I think she probably has a lot of money to buy. She's going to be able to finish her voice out. Oh, there she is. So she has 580 AP. I mean, that's with Baron buff, but still, that's like almost double your AP still. So Anivia's had like almost double your AP for most of this game, and that's why she's doing a lot of damage, and your team isn't. And I mean, you're not. So. It's a silly Skarner ulti. There's no one to follow that up on. So it looks like this will probably be game for you guys. But Ashe just couldn't die. The biggest thing with Ahri is try to do a higher damage build. Or at least recognize when you can get away with like a low damage build like you went, and when you really need the high damage build. This game you needed the high damage build. Your team needed you to do damage. Like, if you have a really strong early advantage like that, like you did in this game, it's really hard to, like, you should spiral that advantage with a really strong damage output build instead of a low damage like utility build, because that's not going to be, like, that's not a good use of your advantage. So, try to think a little more carefully about your builds. I also think that Hextech Revolver was just completely, like, useless. You didn't need the spell vamp. Like, you got it really late past the laning phase, so you weren't able to use it to stay in lane. And so the only time that the spell vamp would help you is in fights, and like you have your passive which gives decent spell vamp, and just a Hextech Revolver isn't gonna really help you out that much. So work on your build order, work on trying to get some ganks bottom. Like, you never gank bottom once, and that's one of Ahri's biggest strengths, is pushing to the turret and going to gank bottom. And I really don't think they had the tri-bush ward. I think you could have really effective ganks down there. So look to apply some pressure mid, and then duck down for a real quick bottom gank. It can really be effective, especially like that Ashe got really fed, and you could have done some stuff to prevent that by putting that pressure bottom. So it's something to consider. Work on try to gank bottom when you're playing Ahri, or any AP that has strong pushing power. Like, Morgana's really good at that. Sion's really good. Like, Sion can just wave clear with his shield at some point, and once you can do that, you just push your turret and go gank all day. Anivia can even do that. In fact, Anivia was doing that. Anivia had a much stronger presence on the map than you did, And as Ahri, that should not be the way it goes, especially because you had the advantage on Anivia early. Um, Anivia, like, Anivia ganked lanes, and then you were late to follow her, and you reacted to where Anivia was and came in. That shouldn't have been the way it was. You should have been the one controlling the flow and forcing Anivia to chase you. So, yep. So try a high damage output build on Ahri, like just like more of a standard AP carry with like double Dorans and then rush Death Cap. And then, like, from there, maybe you can get a Rallies if you feel you need the health. Or, like, Zonia's. I really like Zonia's Hourglass. It's a really good item. Yep. So, I think that's about all I have to say on Ahri. As always, work on your last hitting, because that's super important. And then just work on your, like, focus in team fights. There are a few fights where you really blew your cooldowns on, like, Shyvana or someone that was really tanky, when there's an Anivia or an Ashe nearby, or even a Soraka. I just don't ever blow cooldowns on like a tank when you're playing an AP carry, because it's a big waste. Like, you need to be bursty and you need to burst the right people, and if you drop your burst on someone with like 200 MR, it's not actually burst anymore, especially with a low damage build. So, that's about all. So overall, I mean, you played pretty well. Like, you definitely had an advantage in the early laning phase, but I think you really started losing that advantage because Anivia was the one controlling the ganks, and Anivia picked up like a bunch of kills and ganks, and you were really late to react to them, and you would react and clean up a couple kills, but Anivia was still getting the kills first and really taking advantage of the lane. So. Yeah, yeah, I was just reading through your comments, Logarithm. Actually, let me end the recording before I start.